Hello, my name is Lasagna Toe, and I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Omicron Psi Omega chapter in Lexington, North Carolina.
Hi, and I'm Melissa Smith, Director of Innovation and Initiatives with Senior Services of Winston-Salem and Forsyth County.
Tonight we bring to you Caregivers Wellness Summit, or Caregivers Impact Day. During this special observance, members of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated will recognize caregivers and provide much needed support and respite for them to honor the important work they do for others.
To start us off, Sandra Rinaldi, Vice President of Aging Resources at Senior Services, will discuss caregiver resources. She will be followed by Colleen Byers, court mediator and attorney with Bell Davis and Pitt, who will discuss caregiver self-care and wellness. Then we'll finish with what we think is a much needed caregiver meditation exercise led by Carly Huffsink, healer and energy practitioner with High Frequency Healing. First, here's Sandra Rinaldi.
Hello, my name is Sandra Rinaldi, and I am the Vice President of Aging Resources. I work for Senior Services, which is an agency here in Forsyth County, Winston-Salem. I have been with the organization for over 6 years. While serving the community for over 55 years, Senior Services' mission is not only to help older adults remain at home for as long as possible with dignity, but also to help those who care for senior adults like caregivers through education and support. I thank you for inviting me to be part of this very special event. During our time together today, I will be discussing some local community-based resources, reviewing some respite options, including some specific caregiver resources, briefly discussing third-party payer source, providing information on how you can access any assistance that you may need within the county. And I will also hopefully have some time to talk about some long-term care options and possibly some additional information. So why don't we go ahead and get started? First of all, let's talk about what it is to be a caregiver. Sometimes when I ask someone who is sitting across from me or has called in what it is their relationship is with the person that they are seeking assistance for, they're not really sure how to define that role. And I pretty much tell them that it's fine if they're not their primary caregiver. The fact that they've come in to obtain some information is perfectly fine. But let's talk about who are caregivers. So they are those who provide hands-on help with bathing, dressing, and toileting, those who help run errands such as grocery shopping, pharmacy pickups, those who drive a loved one to the doctor, those who help with household chores or yard work, those who assist with bill paying and other financial matters. It could be someone who simply offers a listening ear, or it could be someone who helps a sibling who is helping a loved one. Here are just some stats that I'd like to share with you. On average, the average age of a caregiver is 49. This is nationwide. 75% are female. 42% care for a parent. 1 in 6 work and provide care. Caregivers spend on average 13 days a month on home management, 24.4 hours a week providing care, 4 years caring for their loved one. This information is from caregiving.org. As I mentioned earlier, during the time together today, I'm going to be covering some local community-based services, some payer sources, some definitely respite options. And if I have some time, I'll be going into some long-term care options and maybe some legal assistance that some of you all may be looking into. So let me talk a bit about local resources. Here in Forsyth County, we have many organizations and agencies that are available to provide assistance to individuals that are caring for someone. And really the basis of community-based services is to keep older adults at home as long as possible. The reason why it's important for you all to understand what's available in your community is that you might one day have to tap into some of these services and access them in order for you to receive some much needed assistance to keep your loved one at home as long as possible. So let me go over some of these services. This is not an all-inclusive list by all means, but these are just some services that are offered within the community. If not directly through senior services, then through our community partners that we have in our county. So some of them are home delivered meals, which is also known as Meals on Wheels, congregate nutrition, which is senior lunch sites in which individuals gather together and not only sit together to share a meal and have lunch together, but there also may be some activities that they have 3 times a week. There's in-home aid assistance, adult daycare, adult day health, transportation, information and assistance, senior centers, legal services, and then some respite options. It's important for me to mention information and assistance is probably the best place to start when one wants to learn about what is available in the community. This service is very dear to me because it's housed in my department at Senior Services, which is the Aging Resources Department. We have trained aging resource specialists who are available to answer your questions and provide you with information, education, and assistance on what's available here in our county and cities. In terms of respite options, there are some agencies that provide respite opportunities, which definitely means a short-term relief for someone who is caring for someone else. Some of those programs are the Family Caregiver Support Program, Project CARE, which is a state program here in North Carolina, and Lifespan Respite, which is also another service that's available. And I am going to get into these programs a little bit more in depth later on in the presentation. So let me talk briefly about some payer sources, because oftentimes individuals that are trying to learn more about what's available in the community or what kind of support is available to them. Oftentimes the question is who pays for what and what's not covered. So let me briefly touch upon some of these more common ones. So there's Medicare, there's Medicaid. For individuals who are veterans, there may be some assistance through the VA. And then some individuals that may have some retiree coverage, they may be able to receive some additional benefits through their retirement plan. So first of all, sometimes there's a lot of confusion between Medicare and Medicaid. The easiest way that I can explain it to you is that Medicare is medical insurance for individuals who are 65 or older or drawing Social Security disability. Medicaid is medical insurance for low-income, age, blind, or disabled. And there's also different other types of Medicaid that may be available to other individuals. Some of the services that are covered under Medicare would be home health services, hospice, skilled nursing, which could also be also known as rehabilitation. Medicaid also covers some home health, some hospice services, some personal care assistance. There may be some assistance for individuals that need to go into an assisted living facility or into skilled nursing. That's a different type of Medicaid than what's known as community Medicaid. Now, I will like to bring up here that while Medicare covers home health services, it does not cover home care services. Home care services, it's what's also known as custodial care. It's assistance that provides help with activities of daily living, which is your bathing, your dressing, your transferring, or your ambulation. And that is not at this point covered by Medicare. Medicare will cover home health services, which there's a skill need attached to it, such as physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, or wound care, registered nurse assistants, or anything to that nature. Medicaid, on the other hand, does provide some limited coverage for home health services, which is your skilled need, and can also provide assistance with home care if the individual has full Medicaid and they need assistance with their activities of daily living. Then they may be able to qualify for what's known as PCS, which is personal care services. That is under Medicaid. Medicare does not cover that assistance. The VA, for individuals who are veterans or a spouse of a veteran, may be able to offer some services to individuals. So I always encourage family members or the veteran themselves to reach out to the VA and see if there's any kind of assistance that they may qualify for. If someone has coverage to their retirement plan, you may be want to reach out to that plan to see if there's any kind of assistance that they may be able to offer you. And also, you may be able to receive some stipends that will help you cover some of the premiums or deductibles under Medicare plans. So there's some options there for individuals that have some retirement coverage, and also maybe want to look into long-term care insurance also. Let me talk a bit about the SHIP program, which is Seniors Health Insurance Information Program. Every state has assistance to help Medicare beneficiaries or individuals who are caring for someone who receives Medicare understand what services are and are not covered under Medicare. And that's known as SHIP. In Forsyth County, the coordinating site is the Shepherd Center of Greater Winston-Salem, and that's where the program is based out of in Forsyth County, and that's where the bulk of counselors and volunteers are based out of. The phone number to the Shepherd Center is 336-748-0217. And I provide that information because if you want to gain a better understanding as to what kind of coverage your loved one has under Medicare, that would be the ideal place to call to make an appointment to meet with a SHIP counselor or speak to someone. You can also call our helpline at Senior Services, because our aging resource specialists, as I mentioned earlier, will provide you with information and assistance and can possibly answer basic general questions on what Medicare covers and does not. So that's another alternative, or you can also always call the state number, which is based out of the North Carolina Department of Insurance, and a counselor there would also be available to offer some assistance. Let me talk really quickly about long-term care resources, but I think this is important for the continuum of care as caregivers are looking at different options. So definitely always, we're going to start with in-home assistance, because the goal is for most families is to keep their loved one at home as long as possible. So that's going to be the first step. The second step, when someone starts needing some assistance with maybe transportation or meals, or really don't want to live by themselves anymore, or living with the family is not the best answer for them, then independent living may be an option. The third step would be assisted living, which are facilities that offer assistance with activities of daily living, which is your bathing, your dressing, your ambulation, and your transferring. And then the last option would be skilled nursing, also known as nursing homes. That's for an individual that needs a lot more hands-on, and they definitely have more complex situations and need more medical assistance. So this is just a quick view of what we call the continuum of care, starting at home, and then as one transitions and could possibly lead toward facility placement into a nursing home. So let's discuss a bit about respite, because as a caregiver, the number one thing that you have to think about is that, yes, it's fine that you are in this role and you're providing care 24 hours a day or 24.4 hours in a week or a day to your loved one, but you also have to think about yourself, and you have to think about that there's a time that you need to stop and re-energize and worry about yourself and take care of your needs in order for you to continue on and help others. So some short-term care provided to caregivers and adult or children that are available would be taking your loved one to an adult daycare. And that's basically taking them to a setting that's supervised, and they can interact with other individuals. They can have lunch together. They can take part in activities. You don't have to worry about them. You can take a break, and you can either run some errands, or you can go home and take a nap. You can run to the bank. Whatever you may need to do without your loved one, you know that it's a trusted place that you could take them there, and they are going to be stimulated and cared for by staff. In home care, sometimes respite is offered in that form also, in that someone will come into the home and care for your loved one and stay with them while you can run errands or just take a break from whatever the responsibility that you have with them is. Sometimes an individual can stay at a facility. Through the Family Caregiver Support Program, there are some vouchers that are available for individuals and for family members, oftentimes used when a family member is going to be having surgery, or they're going to go on vacation and their loved one cannot go with them. Then sometimes they'll place them in a facility short term while that need is being taken care of. Friendly visitor and companionship programs. Some organizations and agencies offer a friendly visitor or someone to come out and simply just stay with your loved one while you run some errands. Family and friends are sometimes looked upon to as a way that you can take a break from your role and access them and reach out to them. Now, I will tell you that the Family Caregiver Support Program in Forsyth County is made up of a consortium, which is a group of providers that provide services to individuals, not only to the care recipient, but also to the caregiver. And we have a great relationship with our community partners, and they offer respite services, whether it be in an adult daycare setting, in somebody's home. We have some vouchers available, as I mentioned, for someone to stay in a facility. And then we traditionally have individuals that maybe can come out and pay a visit to someone while their caregiver catches a break. Of course, you can understand that during these times of the pandemic, there have been some modifications made to the way that these services are being delivered, with taking other proper cautions and not placing anybody in danger or an unnecessary exposure. So the way that we have traditionally maybe provided services has changed, but there is still there an outlet, there's still there a program, and there is still there a chance for you to obtain some much needed respite. As I mentioned earlier in a couple of my slides, There's the Project Care program, which that is a state program that offers individuals not only a voucher for someone to be able to maybe come into the home or place their loved one somewhere to stay with them while their caregiver catches a break, but it also offers some care consultation, which is someone almost similar to a case manager that can kind of help you with resources and kind of guide your family in the right direction. And then we have the Lifespan Respite program, which is another state program that offers vouchers to families to kind of help them with respite for their much needed break. There's also support groups that are available. Support groups have not gone away during the pandemic. I can tell you, if not, now caregivers even have more of an option as to what groups that they can join because everything is virtual. I've been able to connect individuals with groups out of state so that they can access that because everything is via Zoom or a different platform on the internet. If you do not feel comfortable in using your computer, there are usually phone numbers that are associated with the virtual groups, and you can just call in if you just want to hear and speak on the phone. So not having a computer is not really a reason not to join a support group. And then there's other groups within the nationally or even locally that have still continued on with their mission to support caregivers. There is the chapter in Winston-Salem of ACAP, which is also known as the Adult Children of Aging Parents. And it offers educational programs on a monthly basis. And that group has not stopped doing that. Everything now is just virtual. So that's still going on in the community. The Alzheimer's Association is a great resource, not just for individuals that are caring for someone that has a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, but any form of dementia. They would be able to be a great resource for caregivers. Duke Family Support Program is also a great resource here in North Carolina. And we have the Memory Counseling Program at Wake Forest University, and Novant also has some assistance that it could provide caregivers. So the Shepherd Center out of Greater Winston-Salem is not only our SHIP coordinating site for individuals who want more information on what Medicare covers and doesn't cover, but it also coordinates the Powerful Tools for Caregivers class, which is a series, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks, in which caregivers can take a course and learn about resources and how to enrich their tools to become great caregivers. And that's available through the Shepherd Center. That has not gone away either. The classes now are being offered virtually. So there's a great deal of assistance and support still being offered in the community to caregivers. And I hope that you walk away from today's presentation knowing that. So that's a bit about what respite options are available. Some legal resources that I mentioned to when I'm speaking to caregivers so that you can start thinking about if you haven't already done so is under hospice here, which is Trellis in Forsyth County. They will help you to draft up a living will or become your loved one's healthcare power of attorney for free. There are elder law attorneys that are available that can help you put together a POA, a power of attorney for a financial or a durable power of attorney. They can also help with wills and estate planning, or even talk to you about asset protection through the courts. There's the whole guardianship and incompetency portion of it. HIPAA and other providers may require their own forms to be filled out. The VA, Social Security Administration, and banks may have their own forms that a power of attorney will not hold up to their organization and giving you information or access to your loved one's information. So I encourage you to kind of look into that as well. And then of course we have legal aid locally here that can help with some legal assistance. So before I leave you with my final thought and one of the best quotes that I love when it comes to caregiving, I hope that I've been able to provide you with some information on how to access resources, empower you to reach out to community organization, and assure you that despite the pandemic, support is still available to you. I encourage you to reach out to us at Senior Services, to our helpline, because that's really the place that I would start to learn more about what's available in the community. I thank you for your time, and I'm going to leave you now with one of my favorite quotes, which is from Rosalind Carter, which says, "There are 4 types of people: those who have been caregivers, those who are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers." Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for that thoughtful presentation and for all the resources that you provided. Next, we have Colleen Byers.
Hello, and welcome to the Self-Care and Mindfulness portion of the program. My name is Colleen Byers, and I am a collaborative lawyer and a mediator at Bell Davis and Pitt in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where I help families have difficult conversations and facilitate resolutions to their legal problems. I am also a registered yoga teacher, and it is my honor today to share some tips and some practices that we can use for self-care and mindfulness that might help us during this incredibly difficult time. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So I titled the program today, Breathe, Put Your Own Oxygen Mask On First. I know that you have heard that before. And if you're anything like me, when you heard it on the airplane, prior to us being in a pandemic, you might have thought, no way. I remember thinking to myself when I had young children, there's no way I am going to put my oxygen mask on first. I'm going to put it on that little baby, and I'm going to make sure that little one that I am taking care of gets the oxygen mask first. But then I realized that if for any reason I don't get my oxygen mask on, there's not a darn thing I can do to help the people that I love and the people who are relying on me. And so it took a long time to prioritize self-care, but I'm going to talk to you today about why that's so important. Because as we all know, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so you have to take some time to recharge your own batteries and fill your own cup so that you can then get back to helping others and taking care of others. All right, so I am in Winston-Salem, which you may know was the longtime home of the late Maya Angelou. And so I have always found her wisdom and strength to be inspiring. And so I quote her and channel her today in this presentation. And she said that my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. So I want to focus on thriving and how we can take care of ourselves so that we can thrive during these incredibly challenging times. So what does it mean to thrive? Well, it means to grow or develop vigorously, to prosper, to flourish, to progress toward or realize a goal, despite or because of circumstances. And so just like that lotus flower that grows in the mud, we're going to thrive, bloom, and grow, even though there are so many things that are muddy and holding us back right now, between politics and inequities and the virus. So I want to talk about prioritizing self-care. And if you followed any of Michelle Obama's work or read her book, you will know that she too has struggled with prioritizing self-care. But I love the example that she is setting, and I love the permission that she gives to other women to put themselves higher on their own to-do list. And so she talks about the fact that for her, getting the right exercise and sleep and time to recharge is not an option, that she has to recharge her own batteries so that she can go out and do the amazing work that she does and be the mother and the wife and the leader and the community servant that she is. I have always struggled with the thought that maybe self-care is selfish. And so I want to disabuse you of that notion and suggest that self-care is not selfish. In fact, I found this quote really compelling. A young Holocaust victim said, "Ultimately, we have just one moral duty: to reclaim large areas of peace in ourselves, more and more peace, and to reflect it towards others. And the more peace there is in us, the more peace there will also be in our troubled world." And sadly, even though this was perhaps written decades ago, we still right now have a very troubled world that we live in. And I love this quote because it reminds me of the pebble in the pond analogy, and that if we can be the calm and the peace and restore ourselves and fill our own cups, then that radiates outward to the lives that we come into contact with. And so we can spread that peace by being the calm and peace. So how do we do that? How do we prioritize self-care when there are so many demands upon us, when there's so much stress, when there's so little time in the day, when we are struggling with our resources? Here are a few suggestions. First, schedule time for that well-being. Maybe you keep a calendar. I tend to like to put something on my calendar that says I'm going to go for a walk at this time. And I like to do that in advance so that I can't make an excuse that I'm too busy to do it. And I keep it in an appointment on my calendar, just like I would an appointment for anybody else who took up space on my calendar. Get out and get some physical movement. I know it's hard right now with the pandemic, but we can walk, we can ride a bike, we can get some fresh air, we can practice yoga. There are plenty of free yoga videos on YouTube. Rest is really important, especially as we take care of other people, as we are inundated with all sorts of information from the media. It's important to get rest and to get quality rest. Maintaining our boundaries. So if we have too many balls up in the air, starting to see, which balls are the really important balls and which ones can maybe wait until later. Meditation and mindfulness. We'll talk about mindfulness more, and I think you might have a presentation related specifically to meditation, but mindfulness is essentially the ability to be in the present moment, and that helps ground us and stay calm in the present moment. Another thing that works wonders is laughter. So if you can engage in communication and joy and laughter with family or friends, if you want to watch a funny comedy on YouTube or the TV, humor and laughter are amazing. And then finally, fun. Make sure that in this time of strife and stress and struggle, that you carve out some time for fun. And maybe it's just something real small. Maybe it's throwing the ball for the dog in the backyard, and seeing the joy in just the tail wagging and the tongue hanging out. So let's talk a little bit more about mindfulness. What is mindfulness? And it's just the practice of paying attention to whatever's happening in this moment. So it's just observing what's going on without judging it. So we're not having thoughts about what's going on or judgments or evaluations. We're just observing what's going on. We're doing it intentionally, and we're going to stay present in this moment. So we're not thinking about the bad thing that happened yesterday. We're not worried about what might happen 3 days from now. We are here in this particular moment, observing what's going on, noticing without judging. So we're not saying how horrible it is. We're not saying how wonderful it is. We are just observing what's going on in this particular moment. What are the benefits of practicing mindfulness? What are the benefits of pausing for a moment to simply observe what's going on without judgment, without going backward to yesterday or forward to tomorrow? Well, studies have been done to show that it actually reduces cortisol levels in our body. So that's the stress hormone. It helps the stress hormone go down. It helps us maintain a sense of calm. It improves our focus and our memory. It awakens deeper creativity. It might even allow us for new insights. And it helps us communicate effectively under stress. So if we can pause, take a deep breath, and observe what's going on without judging, without reacting, without jumping to conclusions, our stress hormones are going to go down. Our sense of calm is going to go up. Our ability to focus and remember is going to improve. Our ability to be creative and think of new ideas, new revelations, new connections is going to improve. And it's actually going to help us communicate more effectively in times of stress. So if you want to get deeper into mindfulness, how do you do it? Here's a couple of resources. There are several free apps to help you practice mindfulness and meditation. I think Audible is one you might have to pay for, but I know that Calm, Headspace, and Insight Timer, all the apps listed on this slide, do have a free version of them. There are plenty of free mindfulness videos on YouTube. And then in a minute, we're going to get to actually practice a mindfulness exercise here in this workshop. So to practice mindfulness, we're going to, all you have to do is set out just a couple minutes of the day. You can have a mindful moment without a plan. So you can observe that you're feeling stressed or angry or triggered or reactive to something, and you can escape to the bathroom and close the door and practice this mindfulness exercise that we're going to practice. You can even do this exercise in front of other people without anyone knowing, either with or without your eyes closed. So just know that you always have the power to create a mindful pause and some space within your own mind, even if everything is swirling around you chaotically. So you can always escape to your own mind and practice this mindfulness process. So coming to a comfortable seat with your feet flat on the floor, your spine nice and tall, hands resting comfortably in your lap. Take a moment and either close your eyes or lower them towards the floor, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And just take a minute to observe your breathing. No need to change it. Just observe it. Are you breathing deep or shallow? Long or short? And on the next inhale, try to elongate your inhale. So you'll inhale, 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 inhale. Hold at the top. And then open your mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Push all that stale air out of your belly, out of your lungs. And then just practice taking some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. and practice just observing what's going on in your body. Maybe notice where you might feel tight or tense. Maybe you consciously relax your shoulders. Maybe you roll your head to stretch your neck a little bit. Maybe you hear a lawnmower without judging it, without being angry. Just observe the lawnmower and move on. Maybe you can hear a clock ticking. Just note that. Maybe you can hear a dog barking or someone snoring. Just observe and just come back to your body and back to your breath. And so that's the practice of mindfulness. We hear something, we get distracted, we think about yesterday, we worry about tomorrow. We just recognize it, identify it, notice that that's what we're doing, and come back to our body and back to the present moment. And we take a deep breath in through our nose. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Hold it at the top. And exhale, open your mouth, sigh it out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and just take a minute to feel the difference between before we did that short exercise and after. So it doesn't take long, and you have the power anytime you need it to just take a few deep breaths. And those breaths can actually slow your heart rate, reduce your cortisol levels, and hopefully you notice the difference in your body and your mind and your overall state of well-being from before the exercise to after the exercise. And then the final thought that I'll leave with you is to practice self-care by focusing on the positive. Many people keep a gratitude journal, and there's plenty of free apps for keeping a gratitude journal if that is something that interests you. You can share positive experiences with other people. I think you've probably heard the saying that gratitude shared or joy shared is doubled. So when you share positive experiences with others, you get to relive your positive experience, and then you also get to share a positive experience with someone else, and then they get the benefit of your positive experience. So I hope that this presentation was helpful, and I hope that if nothing else, it gives you permission to, for a few minutes a day, to prioritize yourself and fill your own cup so that you can continue helping others. Thank you for all that you do in taking care of others.
Thank you, Colleen, for the wonderful presentation and the great advice that you gave on self-care. Finally, we have our seated meditation exercise led by Carly Hug Singh.
Hi, Carly Singh here with High Frequency Healing. I'm so excited to join you today for a meditation. I'm very grateful for being asked to be a part of this event, and hopefully you can use this tool throughout your day-to-day life. Whenever you feel stressed, maybe you can just cut this. It's going to be approximately 15 to 20 minutes meditation on. Hopefully finding a comfortable space where you can shut the door, maybe light a candle, burn some aromatherapy, get some smudge, and just take a few minutes to sit and relax. You don't necessarily have to have access to a screen. You could just play this on your phone, hopefully, and be able to hear it just fine. without having to actually look at the screen. So you can close your eyes and kind of drop inward. This particular meditation, we're focusing on caregivers and kind of renewing yourself and finding ways to find that inner stillness and bring back some vitality and life force, because you give so much and we're so grateful for each and every one of you. So find a comfortable seated position. We will have a little bit of gentle movement. It will be seated. So I just always like to kind of open up the head and the neck a little bit. So starting out seated, you can sit cross-legged, but close your eyes. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Find some length in the spine. Visualize your tailbone connecting down into the earth. Visualize both sits bones, kind of bringing yourself into the present moment. And so in our day-to-day lives, we spend so much time in our head with a million things going on. And sometimes that can throw us off balance, or we may lose a little bit of mental clarity because we're not focused. And this meditation, and anytime you just close your eyes and bring yourself back to center and do a little bit of breathing, it can help bring you right back to this space of calm, sense, and peace. So with your eyes closed, you can start rolling the head a little bit. I encourage you to take your awareness into your neck and into the jaw. Relaxing any tension in the jaw and the eyebrows and in the forehead. Maybe you get a little snap, crackle, pop like I do sometimes. And then you can let your chin drop to the front towards the chest, lengthening through the back of the neck. And on your inhale, come back up, let your head drop back, just stretch for the front of the neck, open. Take a nice long deep breath, opening up the throat, letting that breath expand down to the lungs and the heart. And then coming back through center, you can start rolling the shoulders a little bit, rolling back left, rolling back right. Kind of opening up the space at the front of the chest. Maybe you want to move your arms a little bit. You can even draw a couple circles with the arms. Always bringing yourself back to the breath, back to your center. And then as you come back, you can let your head roll a little bit more, let go of any final tension, tightness in the neck. And then as you come back through center, bring your palms to the knees. We're going to move through a seated cat-cow. Inhale, chest forward, belly forward. And on your exhale, tuck your chin to chest. Get a nice stretch behind the shoulders. You can kind of arch the spine a little bit. Inhale, chest forward, belly forward. And exhale. One more time. Inhale, coming forward, chest forward. And exhale. And as you come to a neutral position, you can bring your palms to the knees, bringing the pointer finger and the thumb together. Or if you prefer to lie down for this portion where I take you through a guided relaxation and meditation, that's perfectly fine. You may find that you even want to lay down about halfway through, and that's perfectly fine as well. So close your eyes. As you lengthen up through the crown of the head, we're going to start focusing on the breath. Inhaling in through the nose. Allowing the breath to hit the back of the throat and expand into the lungs. And as you exhale, finding any area of the body that you might be holding stress or tension. Maybe an uncomfortable conversation with somebody or an interaction that you would like to let go of. Just visualize sending that out with your breath. Inhaling in, bringing this fresh new prana, life force, vitality into the body, letting it fuel you. And as you exhale, this cleansing, purifying exhale, letting go. Letting your nervous system begin to settle, begin to calm. Now I want you to imagine connecting down into the roots of the earth. The earth, our Pachamama, is here to support us, to give us this sensation of calm, this sense of connection, not only to the self, but to those around us. Letting go of the hustle and bustle in your daily life, and taking a couple of moments to be present. So let your tailbone sink deep down into the earth. Imagine you're letting the earth pull any excess energy, anything that is not serving you or of your highest good. Imagine that draining out of the body. Away from the nervous system. And anytime you find your mind wandering, just bring it back to your breath. Breathe into that space. Fill yourself all the way down into the earth on your exhale. We're going to start to work our way up the spine, renewing various energetic centers. They're called the chakras. They connect in with various parts of the nervous system. These energy or information centers that, when off balance, can lead to instability in the physical and emotional body. So I'll give you some colors that are related to these specific areas as we work our way up. So let me be your guide as we work our way up the spine, starting at the tailbone with this beautiful color red, the root chakra. Creates this sense of security, of stability. This beautiful red light is right at the base, running down the legs, allowing you to feel the sensation of firmness, of ease. And then we begin to work our way up towards the sacral area. The color related to this is orange. So right around the pelvis, I want you to imagine this beautiful orange energy wrapping its way around the pelvis. The sacral area is related to creativity, it's vitality, it's connected to the element of water. So just let this energy move through you, through the sacrum, through the pelvic area. Maybe that orange energy wraps its way around the back, giving nourishing energy to your low back and your spine. Inhaling in, smooth and steady. And exhaling any disharmony or tension. And then we're working our way up a little bit higher to the space right around the solar plexus and diaphragm. This is actually called the solar plexus chakra. The color related to this is yellow. So I want you to imagine this beautiful yellow sun. This is connected in with our digestive system, assimilation, the ego, willpower. So sense this beautiful yellow ring of energy wrapping around you, feeling almost like a hug, a sense of comfort and warmth. As you inhale, see if you can inhale all the way into the belly. That's going to expand and continue to open up the solar plexus, the sacral area. The deeper the breath. And working your way up a little bit higher to the space around the heart. Many people in the healthcare field have huge hearts. They give and give endlessly. For that, we are truly grateful. But turning this direction of giving inward, giving yourself a little bit of love, maybe putting your hands over your own heart. Color related to the heart chakra is green. Dhanahata. So you're inhaling into that heart space with your palms over the heart, feeling the sense of love, giving it back to yourself. Knowing the importance of self-love, self-support, rest and ease. And allowing that sensation to begin to radiate right underneath the palms. This energy and vitality begins to move through you, through your chest, the heart, the shoulders. Filling yourself up with light. Our arms are an extension of the heart. So all this giving, you can open up your arms to receive the gift of love. The universe is abundant with energy. So all you have to do is ask to be rejuvenated, revitalized. And then from the heart, we begin working our way up to the throat. Maybe you lengthen through the crown of the head, feeling the expansion in the back of the throat. the throat chakra. The color related to this is blue. It's our seat of expression, of speaking our mind. Interestingly, it connects the mind to the heart. So it's that area of communication where you're speaking from the heart. So I want you to feel this opening and expansion at the space right at the center of the throat. Letting go of any tension in the jaw. Letting this beautiful blue energy move through the back of the neck and around the throat. And then we begin to move up a little bit higher to the space right at the center of the forehead. The color related to this is indigo, a dark blue, dark purple color. Our intuition, our inner knowing. The pineal gland. All the way up through the crown of the head, the crown chakra, which is a violet or ultraviolet color. So you're really reaching that energy upwards, connecting a cord up into the cosmos. You begin drawing this energy downward, down the spine. You've opened up all the various centers running along the spine. And now you've created this full circuit from the heaven down to the earth. As you inhale that energy down, you're pushing it down the spine into the earth, beginning to revitalize like you're a battery. So we're charging up our batteries, our internal gauge for wellness and well-being. We're going to focus a moment here, just allowing the energy to move through you, down, just cleansing out any stagnant energy, anything you would like to let go of, sending it down into the earth and filling you up with light. Your breath begins to get a little bit deeper, more methodical. And I want you to take your awareness to your fingertips and to the toes. Not only are you drawing energy from the head, but you're pulling it through your extremities, up your arms, into the elbows, shoulders, heart, up the legs, from the feet to the knees and the hips. And continuing to breathe and continue to let go. And I want you to start to visualize drawing that connection back up from the earth. We're going to start sealing off the space around us like you've created an energy bubble throughout this meditation. This protective, centered, and grounded field of energy that's only yours. Setting up this field of protection, of boundaries, but at the same time continuing to have that openness and the space around the heart, not just giving but receiving, sending love back to yourself, taking the time you need. So as you seal off the space around you, I want you to imagine this egg or this bubble that's just wrapping you up. This beautiful field of energy surrounding you. Knowing you can always come back to this space in your mind, the space of calm, the space of peace. And you can gently open up your eyes. Hi. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. For more information, I do lead guided meditations and vibrational healing sessions using crystals, gemstones, essential oils. I also teach yoga and meditation. So my website is highfrequencyhealing.com, and that's hi-frequencyhealing.com. You can also find me on Facebook or Instagram. And please feel free to reach out to me. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Carly. I really hope that wonderful meditation exercise helped out the caregivers viewing our summit today.
Thank you, Sandra, Colleen, and Carly, for your valuable time and knowledge. On behalf of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and Senior Services, we thank you for attending, and we hope this summit brought much needed relief to all of you. Thank you, and good night, and happy Caregivers Day.